Well, hey there, and thanks for joining us. My name is Maggie Gricko, and I lead the sales and account management teams at Storyboard. Today, we're sitting down with Barry Moose, Division Manager of Transportation, and Michelle Matteson, Logistics Coordinator of Koch Foods, to hear how Storyboard Chat has helped their team improve communication, reduce distractions, and make life easier for both dispatchers and drivers. Barry, as I know you oversee transportation operations at Cook Foods, ensuring your fleet runs safely and efficiently, I'd love for you to kick us off. Could you tell us a little bit about your transportation operations and the scale of your fleet?
Sure, Maggie. Thanks for the opportunity, by the way. We currently have 43 trucks in our company fleet. These trucks mainly run from the Southeast, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, up into Fairfield, Ohio, Chicago, Illinois, or Morton, Mississippi. We are currently supplying these locations with poultry, which is a very time-sensitive product. Because of this need, we constantly have to have communication with our drivers at all times.
And Barry, with that kind of communication that you need to constantly have, what would you say were some of the biggest challenges that your fleet was facing before you kind of stumbled upon Storyboard Chat?
Before we started using Storyboard, what we mainly did was just communicate with each driver through their cell phones. This seemed to work okay most of the time, but we did occasionally have different issues that popped up. So we needed a more effective way to communicate. We were having issues with the drivers receiving their info and then acknowledging back to us that they had received it. Without that acknowledgement, there's always the gray area. Well, I didn't receive it, or I received it too late. That was one of the bigger problems that we were having.
Got it. That's really helpful. And Michelle, I know you work directly with your drivers every day, making sure the routes run smoothly and drivers get the information they need when they need it. We heard Barry talk a little bit about that, but could you, in your own words, walk us through your typical day as a logistics coordinator at Coke
Sure,
Foods?
no problem. And thanks for the opportunity to speak with you today, Maggie. Typically, I'll get in, open my computer, and honestly, one of the first things I do is open Storyboard. We let the drivers know over the course of the evening to send in their locations and their, specific load information that we need, ETAs and whatnot. So I begin my day on Storyboard, going through and making sure that there's not any problems that I'm not aware of overnight, getting our suppliers and our consignees ETAs so that they know when their product's coming in and starting to dispatch drivers for the day.
Super helpful, Michelle. And could you tell us, before Storyboard, how did you communicate with drivers and what challenges did you run into?
We communicated predominantly via text, and that causes issues because sometimes text messages don't always go through. We don't have confirmation that the drivers actually saw them. And for some of our drivers, they don't speak English. So now we have confirmation that the drivers have received their messages via whichever means that they have either read or listened to them. And for our Spanish speaking drivers, we now have complete translation from English into Spanish, and we can communicate both ways via that way because I don't speak Spanish at all. So being able to communicate effectively with people that English is not their first language has been a huge, huge help.
Super helpful. And Barry, turning back to you, I know we met at NPTC, but I'm curious, what made Storyboard Chat stand out to you as you were kind of evaluating solutions or how to solve some of these problems?
The first thing that I noticed when we were having a conversation in NPTC was the ability to communicate with each driver without them actually having to refer to their cell phone and punch, to read each of those, instructions that we were giving. I liked the fact that they could receive the messages verbally, and this did not affect their driving ability or their driving time. They didn't have to pull over to read a message. It could automatically come through for them.
Awesome. That's super helpful. And Michelle, kind of as the day-to-day user of our platform, you mentioned you're logging in every day. I'm sure you've seen communication evolve a lot for yourself, but also for your drivers. How would you say Storyboard has changed the amount of time that you're spending on the phone with drivers?
I am spending significantly less time on the phone with drivers. They have all of their information written out for them in their dispatch. They can refer back to it if needed. And like Barry said, they're getting it, over storyboard so that they're not having to stop. They're not having to take time. And it's improved communication dramatically. We get a lot less
Amazing.
phone calls now.
Awesome. That's great to hear. In terms of the messages that you're sending the most often, what are those and how has Storyboard helped ensure drivers get them quickly?
It is instantaneous when they receive them. So a lot of my messages are dispatch information, or in certain cases, weather info, traffic information. These are things that I can send out to groups of drivers that are going to be affected by traffic, weather, construction delays. They're able to reroute themselves accordingly. We're getting better productivity out of the drivers because of it. It's been an exponential boon to our company.
That's fantastic. I love that you're getting more productivity. I know that's what every company wants to hear.
Mhm.
As you're thinking about other logistics teams considering Storyboard, folks in your shoes, anything else that you would share about your experience with them?
I would absolutely try it. It's been amazing to be able to have that confirmation from the drivers that they've received their information, that they're easily able to communicate with us no matter what time of day that it is. The app is not intrusive whatsoever on my cell phone. I use it every day. I would 100% give Storyboard a try. We have nothing but good things to say about it.
And Barry, from your perspective, have there been any other kind of unexpected benefits or use cases that stood out to you since you've rolled out Storyboard to the team?
One thing that really surprised me was the driver's experience and the usage of the system. It seemed to be very operator friendly, and all of the drivers that we had have been able to adapt to that in a very short amount of time. They, like I said, seem to adapt to it pretty quick, and then they've enjoyed using the new system. It's given us a little bit more accountability on both sides of the conversations. We now have a record of the info for both sides, and that has proven very beneficial. I don't think I really expected that to be that much of a benefit, but it certainly helps to have backup on both sides.
Awesome. So, Barry, looking ahead, how do you see Storyboard continuing to support your team's communication and efficiency?
For us, Storyboard has been very good to work with. You have made several adjustments and improvements in the system in the short time period that we've been using Storyboard. I think that you will continue to improve and grow the system and the platform in the future.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for joining us. As we close this out, I really appreciate you sharing your perspective. Many of these questions are the ones we always get from other fleets considering us. So appreciate you taking the time and kind of sharing a little bit about your story. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Maggie.
Thanks, Maggie.